the questions I'm getting asked all the time, believe it or not, are how do you fill out the form? Because it's a little bit confusing, but the reason is because there's so many at the start. And obviously people who are capable of running in under an hour, which I feel is a pretty good aspiration for anyone. I mean, that's just 10-minute miles. Don't want to be stuck by a whole gang of women singing Molly Malone and linked across the road, or women who are just out, they're just out for the day, and they'll take about 2 hours. So in order to avoid being stuck right at the very back, you have to you have to describe yourself either as an elite runner, which is under 45 minutes, which is most club runners, under 60, which is most people in groups really. That's called runner. And then the other group then is fast jogger, and that's under 85 minutes, which if you think about it is actually fast walker, because you'll walk the mini marathon in an hour and a half. If you're a 15-minute mile walker, you do it in about an hour and a half. So that's just under the walking. So that's for people who walk and jog. And but what I got an email about it this morning. In fact, if you want to register, like this woman I was describing, I know that she's not going to break 60 minutes, she's going to smash it to smithereens. So I know this, but the mini marathon people don't know it, and we've no evidence that she'll do this. So what you have to do is run a race between now and when you register, which is, well, for Dublin people it's in the RDS, the weekend of the mini marathon. For people around the country, I think it starts the 17th of May, some date like that. So you have to get evidence that you have run a decent time before that. Now what you do is, if you instinctively feel, or if you're in a group and your leader tells you yes, you're a runner, you have to pick a race. I would suggest, if in the immediate future, there's a 4 mile in Dunboyne on the 29th of March. There's the Meet and Train League, which we have. The first race is the 20. That's womensmeetandtrain.blogspot.com. I think it was the 29th of April. It's a 2 mile race. Then there's a 3 mile and a 4 mile. So they definitely count, because their times will be put up on the internet, and the mini marathon, they know there's no tomfoolery going on. So you fill out the form as a runner, then you get a certified, in other words, print out the page that shows you did the time, and bring it to your registration, and that means you'll get a runner's number.
Okay.
Because every year there's a problem with this, and when you go to registration, check that you have the right colour. There's different colours, because even my group that are runners, we've ended up with walkers' numbers, and then it's too late on the day, and they suddenly look at everyone else's and say, oh, you've got pink and I've got yellow, what's the problem? So make sure that you sort out the problems at registration, and not at a really busy time, like the Friday evening. I think it's the really busy time. So that'll be my main, that's the thing causing confusion at the moment, is what is a runner and what is a fast jogger. And in order, if you want a time, of course, you have to pay €22, which means you get this little timing chip, which I think it's tied onto your lace. There's a version that goes on the number, but I think our one is tied on the lace, and it means that it only activates when you cross the line, so you get a completely accurate time. And then the mini marathon have your time on record for next year and the year after, which is handy. I think for fast jogger, you have to have done the mini marathon itself in the previous 2 years in a time under 85 minutes. Right. Sorry if this is all very confusing.
No worries.
But it is, the main thing that causes aggro every year is people realising on the day that they've got the wrong number, and that they're not going to be with their buddies.
So they really need to make sure.
So really make sure at registration, make absolutely certain that you've got whatever one it is you want.
That you're looking for.
And I double check it, because there's, as you know yourself, there's a huge voluntary staff working on the mini marathon, and they're under a lot of stress and strain, so mistakes are made, and they'd be the first to admit it. So that would be my main advice. Just check that you fill out the form properly. The other thing to say is that the mini marathon office is telling me that the numbers are coming in at an absolutely unprecedented rate.
Oh, really?
So the limit is 40,000, and that will be reached
sooner than April.
Definitely sooner than April.
Yeah. Okay, that's good advice.
So send off the entry form now.
No. Okay, good.
Well, Lady Mary, I wrote it a few years ago. It took me 6 years. It's the work of my life. It is my best book, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we're desperately trying to get a documentary done on her because she was such a character. She was involved in athletics in Ireland in the 1920s. At a time when I started in the 1970s, we were told, oh, you're the first, that I was in UCD, and the UCD Athletic Club only started in 1969. And we thought we were the first, but we weren't. She was there well ahead of us. And that's where I came across her, and then I discovered that she had flown from Cape Town to London in a small plane, the very first woman to do so. She was also married 3 times. Her father murdered her mother in a celebrated murder case in Newcastle West, County Limerick. So when I started unearthing all this information, I just thought, if I can't make a book out of this, I really don't deserve to be called a writer. So go out and buy my book. It's my best book. So I think it's through sport women can perhaps break away from some of these awful stereotypes. And when I say sport, I mean any sport. I mean, there's some incredibly active and well organised sports in Ireland, such as I cover about 40 sports in the Evening Herald, but my little favourites would be badminton, volleyball, canoeing, my own sport of orienteering, obviously. And all these have a certain element of, but they're well organised, and there's leagues and things, and there's a good social element, and the people, they're fun people. But I would urge parents to try and get their young girls, not just the boys, into sport. Sadly, the sports pages do not cover women's sport to any degree at all. I'm a judge for the Sportswomen of the Year Awards, which is in the Irish Times, and Malachy Logan, fortunately, there is finally putting in, we've kind of argued with him that it's not enough just to be sponsoring the awards. They've got to cover women's sports, please. I mean, I still don't know the results of Ireland versus the women's match, Ireland versus Scotland, and we have a really good women's rugby, whatever you may think about women's rugby. So it's all positive if women can get involved, and they're not going to be put, if they're afraid of being put under pressure, they're not going to be put under pressure. But I would urge them to take out the iPods and go out and talk to people.
Get involved.
Only your iPods to lose, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Get involved, and like in our group we have 2 fantastic 60-year-olds, and we have a 75-year-old. She only walks, but she's fine. I mean, she's from orienteering. Right down to age 14 and 15. Who are from orienteering, because I'm an orienteering coach as well. So you get the huge span, and it replaces the extended family, I think, of times of yore. And my family is half Scottish, half Irish, so a lot of my family, I don't have a big family in Ireland, so I sometimes think this
is your family.
This is, the running world is my family.
Exactly.
And as I say, it's all positive, and I just, our hope, the Sports Council have actually asked us to push this, that joining groups is not, just taking the first step is the hardest thing. But I know so many people who've said, I joined a group, it's great, because at work people are saying, you're training 4 times a week, are you mad? So as this woman said to me, you really need your group just so you can say, no, I'm not mad. I'm the sane one.
Exactly.
So that's, I'm probably going on a bit, but that's what I would I'd feel, Join a group.
Join a group. Great stuff.
Whatever group.